Hello, welcome to my channel class 11 in the second topic, that is physical world. I am going to give you some knowledge about the physics, its various branches, and what are the fundamental forces in nature. So let us discuss the physical world. You know the physics. Here at the board, physics means nature, bhautiki. So physical world is made up of nature, and you know that all the laws which govern the nature, physics is involved there. And main domains of study of physics are supposed to be two, but there is third recent in the research work, that is also the third one. So there are three domains: macroscopic physics, microscopic physics, and at the mesoscopic physics. So macroscopic physics, in this we study about the classical physics. What is classical physics? That means the classical physics mainly deals with macroscopic phenomena which may be at the laboratory, terrestrial and astronomical levels, astronomical scales. Particle size in classical physics is greater than 10 to the power minus 8, and the particle velocity should be less than of the order of 10 to the power 8 meter per second. They are dealt, such phenomena are studied under the classical physics. And what are the other phenomena? Here we need to consider the forces which are gravitational and electromagnetic forces. They are sufficient to explain the classical physics. What are the subdisciplines under it? That is mechanics. We read about the mechanical work, machines, optics for the image formation by lenses, measures, telescope, microscope, thermodynamics and electrodynamics. We read about the engine, second law, first law of thermodynamics, entropy, and electrodynamics, various electrical devices. What about microscopic physics? In the microscopic physics, the quantum mechanics deals with the microscopic phenomena at minute scales of atoms, molecules and nuclei. Here the strong nuclear force and weak nuclear force, they are dominant in the quantum mechanics. In the third kind of that, recently research work is done in the mesoscopic physics, which is in between the micro and macroscopic domains. It deals with the few tens or hundreds of atoms. The interaction between hundreds of atoms is studied, and research work is done under this mesoscopic physics. Now, we cannot imagine any technology without physics. Electrical appliances, X-rays, radio, TV, satellite, geothermal physics, ocean energy, how the nuclear physics, and all these machines which we don't think that is there any technology without physics. We can say that physics generates the new technology, and any new technology or any other technology generates new physics. That means we'll make our life comfortable with the use of technology, and we see that the technologies have made our life very comfortable and materially prosperous. Let us discuss about fundamental forces in nature. There are four fundamental forces in nature, and they are known as gravitational force, electromagnetic force, strong nuclear force and weak nuclear force. I have written with the symbol Fg, Fw, Fe and Fs. Fg for gravitational, this is weak nuclear force, electromagnetic force and strong nuclear force. What are the ratios of these forces. One is to 10 to the power 25, 10 to the power 36 and 10 to the power 38. That is the strongest force in nature is strong nuclear force and weakest is the gravitational force, taking the reference. What are they? That how will you find that gravitational force? What are the characteristics and properties? By virtue of masses it is produced. It is weakest force but always force of attraction. This is gravitational force. It obeys distance inverse square rule and it is central and conservative. Central means the force acts along the line joining the bodies, and conservative that work done by gravitational force does not depend on the path. Similarly, it is long range force. And what are the applications? That it governs the whole universe, planetary motion and satellites. You get the weather forecast from the satellite. In this way, gravitational force and its properties you all know. Gravitational force and electromagnetic force, their phenomena related with these two forces come under the classical physics at the macroscopic level. Now the next one is, after the gravitational force, the electromagnetic force. How will you define electromagnetic force? That it is electromagnetic force. Here this electromagnetic force is about 10 to the power 36 times more than the gravitational force. It is the force due to interaction between moving charges. It is caused by exchange of photons between two charged particles. And one more thing, how gravitational force is caused by exchange of a particle called graviton. Here it is caused by the exchange of particles called photons. Now, since the charges are of two types, so this force is also attractive as well as repulsive, and it obeys distance inverse square rule. It is conservative, central like the gravitational force, and in the spring force and tension, friction, whenever you compress the spring, the reactionary force you feel is the electromagnetic force. How it is produced? Between the molecules of a spring and the force of compression you are applying. So this is the electromagnetic force. It is the one more force, that is the neutral force in between the two gas molecules, neutral molecules, that is called van der Waals forces. It is also due to the interaction between electrons and nuclei of the atoms. So van der Waals force between neutral molecules of gas, that is also the example of electromagnetic force. Third one is strong nuclear force. Now these two are this gravitational force and electromagnetic force. They are long range. This is attractive, repulsive both. It is always attractive. It is weak. It is 10 to the power 36 times stronger than gravitational, and all the other facts. What about strong nuclear force? Within the nucleus, protons and neutrons are there, and they are in a very compact size of nucleus, about 10 to the power minus 15 meter. Even then, two protons or the protons, number of protons stay together in a nuclei. How? Proton, both are positively charged, but despite of their repulsion, there is a strong force of attraction. This is the strong nuclear force, and this strong nuclear force is 10 to the power 36 times more than the gravitational force. So in this is electromagnetic force is 10 to the power 36 times, and this the strong nuclear force is 10 to the power 38. I have written this, that's why. So strong nuclear force is 10 to the power 38 times more stronger than the gravitational force. So this strong nuclear force is due to this force we see the stable nuclei, phenomena of radioactivity, source of nuclear energy, fission fusion we find due to presence of this nuclear force. What are its properties? The strong nuclear force is short ranged, that is for the distance less than 0.5 Fermi. Fermi means 10 to the power minus 15 meter. It becomes repulsive, and this force is non-central and non-conservative. It does not depend on 1 upon r square, that is, it does not obey distance inverse square rule. The r to the some more power and is inversely proportional to that, that is, it depends on 1 upon r more than 2 power inversely to that. So a strong nuclear force becomes repulsive when the distance between the two nucleons becomes less than 0.5 Fermi. Also, it is not charge dependent, that is, either proton proton or proton neutron or neutron neutron, it always occur. That is the stability of the nucleus. Weak nuclear force. What is weak nuclear force? We have seen here this weak nuclear force is 10 to the power 25 times stronger than the gravitational force, and it appears only between elementary particles involved in a nuclear process such as beta decay. It governs any process involving neutrino and anti-neutrino, this weak nuclear force, and because of this the particles which can experience these neutrino particles, neutrino and anti-neutrino, can experience only weak interaction. That is why not the strong nuclear interaction takes place between particles neutrino and anti-neutrino. So such type of forces we read in physics, and you will read further when you go in the higher in the next topics of syllabus, nuclear physics. You will read about the nuclear force and so many. Now in any physical process, the quantities which remain unchanged with time. So many forces govern these any natural phenomena is governed by these forces, but the quantity which remain constant with time, they are called conserved quantities. And on the basis of that, in classical physics, some laws for conservation are made. Law of conservation of energy, law of conservation of linear momentum, law of conservation of angular momentum, and conservation of charge. So in this way you have to define various forces and their properties in the physics and what is the scope of physics. In the next unit we will study about the measurement. So units and measurement. What are units and measurement? We will study in this topic. So in this topic we will consider the quantities. They are called physical quantities. What are physical quantities? How many types of quantities are they? Look, suppose units and measurement, we will study about the physical quantities. The name of topic is units and measurement. So first of all we will study about the physical quantities. What are physical quantities? How will you define physical quantities? Physical quantities are those which can be measured directly or indirectly, in terms of which the laws of physics can be expressed in mathematical form. They are the building blocks of physics. So what are physical quantities? In terms of they are expressed in terms of mathematical form. They are called the building blocks, and they are of two types. How the building blocks? Laws of physics can be expressed. You know, laws of physics can be expressed in terms of length, in terms of mass, in terms of charge, so many, density, force. So there are so many physical quantities in terms of the physics laws can be expressed in the mathematical forms. But how will you categorize them? So physical quantities are of two types. Number one, fundamental or base quantity, and number two, derived. And how will you define what are fundamental quantity and what are derived one? Fundamental quantities are those quantities which can be treated as independent of other physical quantities, and they are 7. You must have read in class 10th also. What are the names of the fundamental quantities? You know their names. Length, I am not going to write. Mass, time, temperature. Suppose you write mass, I am writing in short. Time, temperature, amount of substance, intensity of light, your light intensity. So how will you? Length, mass, time 3, temperature 4, amount of substance 5, intensity of light 6. What is the 7th one? Look here that these length, mass, time are the mainly, they are frequently used. Temperature you have read, and electric current, I am writing here electric current, they are also, you will read several laws and phenomena based on these quantities. So fundamental quantities are 7, and derived one, area, force. How? Because area is length into breadth, force is mass into acceleration. So mass is fundamental, but another one. Area, length is fundamental, but length into length. So derived quantities, how will you define that? What are derived quantities? Derived quantities, you can say they are made up of 2 or more fundamental quantities. So here we have written density, force, work, power, momentum, any of the thing. These are the examples of derived quantities. Now derived quantities means that is defining operations are based on other physical quantities. That is area. How will you define area? It is based on other physical quantity, that is length into length. How will you write? Speed. Suppose speed. So speed will depend upon length and time. So in this way they are derived because they are made up of one or more fundamental quantities, their uses, how they are used. That area, only one fundamental quantity, but it is multiplied. Volume, L into L into L, in this way. Now what do you mean by measurement? Measurement means that you are going to compare a quantity with the standard amount, that is called unit. If you know what is measurement, so how will you define that? What do you mean by measurement? You know, you have measured the speed, length, several things, mass. What do you, how will you define what is measurement? So you define measurement here as the measurement is the process of comparing a quantity with the standard amount of the quantity of same kind, that is called unit. So every measurement involved, suppose measurement of a quantity, how will you write it? Some numerical value into unit. if I write unit with U, then it is NU. I am giving you example that how will you compare this measurement. Suppose 5 kilometer. So 5 is numerical value, kilometer is the unit of length. It can be written in other forms, that is 5000 meter. What does it mean? Both are same, but here you can write 5 as N1, kilometer as U1. Similarly here 5000 as N2 and meter as U2, second unit of length. So we find here that if measurement of quantity is equal to N into unit, that is amount of measurement is this one, then N into unit is a constant and this 5 kilometer equal to 5000 meter is a constant. We can see here that if the numeral or this number is smaller, then unit is bigger, and here if this number is bigger, 5000 is more than 5, then unit is smaller. So N into U is a measurement of quantity. What can you conclude from that? From there, that is the numerical value, this numeral or numerical value is inversely proportional to a unit. This is the measurement. How will you find that? The measurement gives you this conclusion that numerical value is inversely proportional to unit. Now in this measurement we can say that what are fundamental units and how many types of fundamental units you know. Then fundamental quantities were 7, then fundamental units will be also 7, that is the length meter, mass kilogram, time second, light intensity candela, electricity current, temperature Kelvin, amount of substance mole. So in this way you know all these things. Despite of that, two supplementary units are there. They are angle and solid angle. So there are two supplementary quantities and their units, supplementary units. What is angle? Angle is arc upon radius. So it is measured in radian. 1 radian equal to the arc length equal to radius of a circle. That arc substance at the center, how much angle? That is 1 radian. You know about this. And what about solid angle? If this is a circle, then this arc subtends the angle here at the center of C of the circle. If this arc length and this radius is equal, then this angle theta will be equal to 1 radian. So radian means angle means arc upon radius. What about solid angle? Suppose there is a 3-dimensional object. Suppose there is a hollow metallic ball or any ball, and at the surface of the ball you have drawn some arbitrary shape, some area you have considered. Then from each point you join these so many lines joining the area. So then this will be the, suppose they meet at the center by having this angle. This is called solid angle. And how will you define solid angle? Its formula, that is this area which is here taken at the surface of the sphere and average this radius is square. So average this area upon radius square, it is the solid angle, and its unit is, solid angle unit is steradian. Solid angle is measured in steradian and angle is measured in radian. So now 7 fundamental quantities, its unit and definition of units you have to learn, and what are the 2 fundamental quantities and their units. Now I will tell the measurement of length and parallax method. So many methods to measure the distance of the star from the sun, distance of a planet from the sun, size of or diameter of a star, depth of seabed, height of a hill in the next video. Thank you.